Alright, so this is going to be the second species review we've done here on the channel, and this is going to be of the Bristlenose pleco. Now these fish are one of the most common plecos in the aquarium hobby, but make sure not to get them confused with the fish called the common pleco, which can get over 2 feet long. Make sure to get the Bristlenose pleco. Now one of my favorite things about the Bristlenose pleco is that it comes in a bunch of variants, such as the super red, albino, and longfin. One of my favorites is probably the super red. I think they're super cool, but I have an albino right now. This is also one of the best plecos to keep as pets. They are cheap, easy to find, and can live in a smaller tank than some plecos such as the common pleco. These guys can live in a tank as small as a 20-gallon. A 20-gallon long works better than a 20-gallon high, and 20 gallons is a little small, but if you're doing water changes every week, you can probably keep one in a 20-gallon. Another really nice thing about the Bristlenose pleco is that it's extremely easy to tell males and females apart, and it's also extremely easy to breed. My Bristlenose pleco is a female because her bristles are way smaller than any male's bristles. These plecos only get about 4 to 6 inches long, which may seem large to some fish keepers who haven't kept many large fish, but this is actually really small for a pleco. Now, a lot of people go into the pet store and they want a cleaner fish, so they buy this fish, but it is not a cleaner fish. It actually produces a lot of waste, and so they can clean some algae, but they cannot clean your tank for you. You still have to do maintenance on your tank, and you need to feed them their own foods, like algae wafers and frozen foods, so it is not a cleaner fish. So these fish, they can eat uneaten food that the fish don't eat that falls to the bottom of the tank, but it is also essential to get them their own food. Now, some foods that I like to use are algae wafers and frozen foods. You can also feed them zucchini slices, balanced romaine lettuce, or spinach. Now, this can be a treat. You shouldn't feed this all the time, but it is something that you can do, and that's pretty cool. This fish is really cool in community tanks too. So this fish can live with all sorts of other fish, but males should not be kept together usually. But you can keep multiple of these fish if they are one male to a couple females, or just a few females. So another thing to keep in mind when you buy these fish is that they have armor and spines that can injure fish that are trying to attack it. So that means that you don't want to keep them with any fish that will constantly attack them, because it can actually hurt the other fish. Something you're definitely going to need in this pleco's tank is a place for them to hide. So I have a cave that I got from Petco. You can use pleco caves, you can use PVC pipes. There's all sorts of things that you can use for your pleco, and they need to be able to hide, and they hide a lot. As with all fish, you're definitely going to have to do water changes, especially if you're keeping them in a smaller aquarium. You're going to have to do them more often and at a higher volume. So I'm keeping mine in a 20-gallon right now. He's going into a bigger tank pretty soon. I have one set up right now, but I do 50% water changes every single week, and I would recommend doing this as well. Another really nice thing about these fish is that they can tolerate a bunch of pH levels and temperature levels. So they can go all the way as low as 6.5 pH, all the way up to a 7.8 pH, and they really appreciate wood in the tank. These plecos also like water temperature that is around 78 degrees, but they can go anywhere from 60 to 80, so it's not, you don't have to have perfect water. So in the wild, these plecos live in the Amazon and other rivers and South America. These fish prefer well-aerated water that has a flow, but in captivity they can live perfectly fine with just a sponge filter. Now these plecos are obviously really awesome fish, but something you should definitely keep in mind is that you're not going to see them too often. Mine hides out most of the time, so all of these clips that you saw in this slideshow have been taken over the past like 2 days, but you're not going to see them that much, and they also prefer to come out at night. So if you're up later, like I am right now, I can look over at my tank and I see her right now just swimming around. So that's something you should definitely keep in mind. So if you're interested in these plecos, there are some other plecos to also check out that are really cool in the aquarium hobby that aren't super huge. One is the rubber lip pleco, and the other is the clown pleco. I would go check these out. Other channels have a lot of videos on plecos like this. I've never kept them, so I can't really give my opinion. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it'd be really cool if you subscribed. So, yeah. that's the end of the video.